Hello, how are you? I'm back with another speed build. Haha, that's what you're watching now. Um, it's been a minute and I don't really have actually no, I do have an explanation. It's called I moved and I started a new job and I went on a road trip and I've been very busy. And also the last video I tried to make, my audio got messed up because my normal wired headphones, the microphone stopped working, so I tried to use my wireless ones, and then those didn't work for me either. So here we are. Um, yes. So this is a house I built. I have no twin moment. Um, After much consideration and being indecisive, I said Coburn Terrace. That's our name. We're gonna stick with it. Yeah. It's a 5 bedroom, 3.5 bathroom house. I was thinking in when like designing the spaces, this is for a family. I was thinking a family of six, so two parents who share a room, and then their four children. I imagined three teenagers of various points in teenagerdom, and then a child who does, child things like the color green. And then I also had stuff for two pets. The one thing I forgot to add was a cat scratcher, even though I put a litter box, because my cat doesn't use a cat scratcher, so I always forget they exist. Also, ignore this little attic space you're seeing. I didn't end up keeping that, just it didn't work out with my design when I tried to put access to it. Also, I'm sorry if you hear an air conditioner. Um, I'm trying not to sit too close to it, but it's a little warm in here, and I like to not be really, really hot when I sit in my room. Uh, But yes, so as you can see, the build is coming together. It's quite large. I was inspired by an image that I've had saved on my computer for quite a while. So if I'm able to figure out how to do it on the software, I will include it right here. And if I don't, then that's life. Sucks to suck, I guess. Though actually, come to think of it, the way that I upload these, I could maybe put it on the website. So there's a consideration. We'll see what I decide when we get there. We're both going to find out at the same time what I do. Um, yes. So, more about this house. Let me get my notes back up. So this house obviously is a 5 bedroom. It could have been 6 bedrooms, but the way that I was designing the space, for as many Sims as I was thinking, it wouldn't make sense to have a 6 bedroom, so I didn't put one. And then partway through building it, I was thinking, okay, so you're not gonna see me do it on camera. I do it like between cuts, but I added like a wing onto the right side of the house, which is where the office is. And the more and like when I was building and just now, thinking about it, I totally could have put the office where I ended up putting a gym because I put a gym in this house next to the kitchen, which I think is a cool addition because it's something I never do. Like I don't usually put stuff like that, but I do think it is a cool idea to put a little, you know, it's essentially a skill room. I just decided to make it a gym because I feel like I kind of lean towards making my Sims like really artsy and getting like a painting studio or something like that. And I just figured, why not? I never make gyms. Maybe you're gonna download this and you're trying to do like a fitness career, fitness aspiration or whatever. And I just helped you, so you're welcome. Also, what you're seeing of the floor plan is like basically all you're gonna. Actually, no, it's not the only thing you're gonna see. But I was very indecisive with this floor plan. Like I spent a long time struggling with the downstairs, and then I came to the upstairs and was like, okay, we're just gonna do the upstairs first because that was a bit more straightforward, and I felt like having placement for the stairs that made sense and stuff would really help me inform how I wanted to do the downstairs. I also don't show how I did the downstairs because I just struggled for a long time. I spent like half an hour maybe. It was really unpleasant to watch. Um, this is the floor plan I ended up with. You can see I added that little room to the side that ends up being the office. You can see all of that. But the first room I started decorating was the dining room because that's really the room that just came together for me. Like I picked out a table and I said, yeah, I guess we're doing this. I also picked out like wallpapers and placed them. I just kind of like placed in furniture while I was building and said, we'll come back to this. And that's how I did this entire build. um, but yeah, so in terms of design, I Well, first of all, this wallpaper, the white paneling with the dark blue wall portion, plaster, if you will, because it's not a wallpaper. That is from the update from the Horse Ranch expansion, which has finally come out. Yay, horses! I don't have it, which is why you don't see any of the items in it in this build. Um, but it looks fun. It looks cute. It looks like a jaunty old time. Um, yeah, I wasn't someone who was like super like urgently hoping like horses, horses, please horses. Um, but it looks good, and from what I've seen from the behind the scenes stuff, it looks like the horses were like well researched and well made. People seem really happy with them. Yeah, they're horses. Horses are a cool animal. I'm not really like super enthusiastic if you couldn't tell. Again, no fault to the concept of horses in the game or horses in general. It just isn't my thing. You know, I like cats. I like rats. I like sharks. Stuff like that. But horses are cool. Anyway, oh, I had a note. So, so, horses, horse girls. I know several. One of my college roommates, a couple of friends I've had, people who have never met each. Some of them have met people who, for the most part, have never met each other, have no association with each other. But you know the one, they have two things in common. Number one, horse girls, and number two, they're all K-pop fans, and I don't know why those are like the two things that people keep having in common, but I think it's really funny for one. The horse girl K-pop, like, not pipeline, but you know, the weird correlation. It's like Warrior Cats fans and being gay or something. And I'm allowed to say that because I'm a Warrior Cats fan and I'm gay. That was a weird side tangent. I don't know where I was going with that, but I have to talk about it about the K-pop girlies who are also horse girlies. It's just like I don't know. It's just such a fun little thing that I see in life of like people who have common interests, but I don't understand why it's always those two. You know, it happens. Anyway, we've talked over much of this kitchen. You know, it's a kitchen. It's got kitchen items in it. A few of the objects I ended up like shifting around slightly off camera just because, you know, I can, so I will. I also put in a what's the word? Trash can at some point. Um, off of camera as well. I also don't have a dishwasher in here, which for like the size and the price of this house, which I don't have off the top of my head, feels weird because this is like an expensive, fancy house. You would expect there to be like a dishwasher and stuff because it's like a coffee machine and a microwave. But I also just always have trouble finding a good place for a dishwasher in a kitchen because I don't want it to be right next to the stove because I don't like the way that that looks in the game. I just think it's weird. Anyway, yeah, there's not really much else to say about the kitchen. I put those wedding stories curtains. I think they're nice. I think they are good in that space. So I like those. Um, I paused there for a moment. Yes. Also, you may see all of my CC is in the game. I don't use any CC in this build, so this is a no CC build. I just didn't want to unflag it for some reason. Um, I don't know. I was feeling kind of wacky when I built this. Anyway, we're on to the living room finally, which is a fun space. It's got couches. I know. Exciting. I also like the fireplace they use having that pop of bright red from the brick. Originally, it was from the brick around the actual hearth itself, but this is just the brick of the you know, the structure of the fireplace. I'm not an expert on fireplace anatomy. I'm sorry, but yeah. So this was one of the rooms where I kind of like deviated from just keeping like the blue of the coastal kind of theme, and I went for some other colors, and I think I achieved the other colors pretty well. In general, I like this living room. I'm not sure how easy it is to maneuver for Sims though, just because of where I placed the couches. But I didn't want to place them somewhere else because I thought that this arrangement flowed best with the space that I had, given how many doors and the stairs and whatnot. I also had to contend with. That was honestly a big part of the struggle of forming this floor plan was balancing where all the entrances to spaces are and making sure that those weren't too congested. And then also making sure that like I could put furniture around to route and I could like actually use those spaces effectively for the amount of Sims I wanted in this house. And while I said that, we've started on the master bedroom. I'm sorry if you heard my chair creaking, I just wanted to sit up. But we started on the master bedroom, and this is not the first time, but like it's one of the few times I have used like this blue furniture from Cats and Dogs, and I think it looks really nice. I just wish I could find more excuses to use it because it's a very interesting look, and I almost used the blue bench there. I ended up using that one instead because as much as I love the blue furniture and as much as I think it's like such a cool statement, I didn't want every single piece of furniture in this room to be the blue stuff because I wanted to have like different colors or like different shades of blue. I wanted some just different wood tones entirely to make it like more pieced together and like organically acquired over time. But at the same time, I wanted it to be more or less cohesive. And also, some things just didn't come in blue, but I loved the shape of them too much to use something else. So I guess like more of the theme is like blue furniture and then light furniture with like some of the paint chipped off because I wanted some of that like old antique vibe going on. But yeah, so here I'm just covering up some surfaces. I didn't really think much about like what the parents do per se. I know that at least one of them has to like fitness. That could also be one of their kids, but I feel like you wouldn't get like a gym for your kid unless your kid was like pre-Olympic or something. I feel like that's not a word that people use, but you know what I mean. And then another thing I was also thinking could really well complement like an aspiration for their parent or child was that chess table because I've been playing the game like actually like sitting down and making Sims do things recently, and one of the Sims I have, he has the aspiration for like the Whiz Kid or something, and he has to play like a certain amount of chess games. Um, but the problem is, his household does not have a chess table, so I have to find times to like take him out to the park or whatever, and let him go play chess with some other kids and stuff. But like, I can never find like enough chess tables or like people to play chess with, so he's just trying to play chess so bad, like he can't find a chess buddy. I feel sad for him sometimes. But where was I? Oh yeah. So I didn't have like a super definite plan about like what do the parents do. I was thinking one of them could maybe be like a writer, because I have like the stereotypical writer objects, or at least the ones that I regarded like writer objects, like the little envelopes and stamp and book from werewolves, and like the little open notebook. Something like that. I don't know. Smart people. That's all I can say is that someone here is smart because they play chess, and only smart people know how to play chess. That's why I can play chess. Haha, I'm smart. But yeah, I didn't really stress about it. I was just thinking what's gonna look nice. And part of that is his office. I wanted to keep two similar color tones as in the rest of the house and especially the parents' spaces. So I went with like gray, a lot of blue, it's mostly just blue and gray and similar colors. And that's the downstairs done. Now we are going to talk about these children's bedrooms. This is for the first of the teenagers. I was thinking this is the eldest. I'm trying to remember what kind of like themes I was thinking for them. So obviously they like blue because their room is very blue, dabba dee dabba die. Um, but I was thinking like blue and gray for their color scheme. And I also was thinking they like plants because they have like the floral bedspread, which is like the dumbest thing I've ever said, but I'm gonna stick with it. So they like plants. They have a few succulents they're growing. I always feel weird putting like big plants in a child or teenager's room unless like I want that to be like a major focus of their character. So I just gave them a couple of little succulents and pop. I was also thinking they like writing, music and writing, because I gave them a journal or a couple of journals on their nightstand, and I also gave them a violin, and then I gave them a bookshelf and a little reading corner. This nice little beanbag chair. I love this beanbag chair. It is so fun, so cute, and it just works really well for a lot of teenage spaces, and also for other spaces. Just the colors it comes in. And then this room is also where I end up putting one of the beds for. I was thinking for a cat, so maybe like this teenager has like the cat in like the cat lives in their room basically kind of thing, and they're like, okay, well I guess I'll put the bed in here. So, that's the sort of vibe I was going for. And I'm not done with this room yet, but I'm done talking about it. So I can continue on my little list of things. I gave myself notes to talk about because I'm really bad at sustaining a conversation. And the next thing on my list is, oh yeah, I moved. I mentioned it earlier. I no longer live with my parents. I now live with some roommates, and it's a very different experience for me. Very, very new, very scary, but in a good way. And also, it means that I can do something like this and record a voiceover without feeling self conscious or feeling like I'm going to get interrupted by like my parents or something, which is great. And also, I started a new job last week, which is absolutely wild to think about. I work in a research lab that has like just begun. We're not even doing research yet. We're still like building up the lab and like getting all the clearances we need to actually start doing research. But we're doing research with frogs and cell division. That's as much as I think I can tell you. Anyway, we've moved on to the second room, which I think is my favorite. I was thinking yellow and gray. This is based on like an image that I saved forever ago of like a teenager's bedroom that was just yellow and gray. And I thought, you know what? It maybe maybe two bedrooms that have gray in them, but it's like different amounts of gray. So I went with it. And I also wanted to use these little like fairy light stars, whatever. I thought they're really cute and I thought they worked really well for the space. Um, so if the other room that we just did was like the eldest, maybe like a 17-year-old, I was thinking this is like a 14-year-old. So like not the youngest, but like younger kind of thing. So I wanted to show that through like having some toys around and having like like bright colors and little kiddish touches, but like they're also kind of in that vibe of like I've begun to grow up. I don't need all my little kid things anymore. But they also have like their big cat plush on there, like at the next to their desk and stuff. And they have like stickers on their lamp and all that kind of things. I think it's cute. I also gave this younger teenager. Um, I think that they're the creative person in the house, so I gave them some fiber arts. They have a loom. They have a bag of yarn for knitting. They have a sketch pad, so I'm thinking they're also into like digital art as well. I'm just thinking they're a very artistic person, and I thought that this was like a good room to explore that kind of stuff in. Um, so you can also see they have like the little penguin, and they have my favorite little turtle from the Nifty Knitting uh, stuff pack. I love the turtle so much, and I put those on the couch, and I think that couch is just a great way to display things and just to tie in the colors on that half of the room. I'm very happy with how this room turned out, I will say, because it's a color scheme that I had been like curious but nervous about, and it has lots of sunflowers, and I just think it's very cool and very cute. Anyway, we are now moving on to the next room, which is very, very bright. Um, like that bright. um, it's like pink and blue for like someone who's into fashion and gaming. And I totally should have given them like one of the larger gaming computers instead of just a laptop because I only give the teenagers laptops. But I don't care. I think it's cute, and I think this is the perfect segue into my next little bullet point, which is that's right, the cinematic event of the summer, Barbenheimer, which is still such a weird thing to say, but yeah, that's what the people demanded. So yeah, I actually saw that yesterday. So for those of you who don't know, um, there is a biopic about J. Robert Oppenheimer and a movie about Barbie that released the same day. And the vibe, like the meme, is to go see both of them at once. It's like a double feature. So I did that. It took me a really, really long time because it's like 5 hours collectively of like movie watching, and the way that the times at the theater I was going to aligned. Um, I think the first movie started at like 2 and the second movie ended at like 9. So I was there for no wait, the first movie started at like 2:50. What am I saying? So it was really close to like 6 or so hours that I spent in the theater, but it was still a very long time. Anyway, I will say I liked both of them. I am of what I believe is a somewhat unpopular opinion of saying I liked Oppenheimer more. But I will say that both were really, really good. And I would recommend either. Um, Barbie is the more like, you know, easier to go to film because I it's about a much less heavy subject matter. It's also only 2 hours, but Oppenheimer is great if you're really into like technical stuff. I think on a technical level, it's really, really good. And if you're at all interested in physics, you gotta go see it because it is very much like it's a science people movie, and as science people, I enjoyed it. Anyway, I completely talked over the creation of this room. So I mentioned it's for a fashion person and a gamer person. Um, and I also was thinking this was like the second oldest child, but they still have a lot of like that childish about them. So th- yeah, they got that childish in them or whatever. So I gave them fun things like I gave them another plushie and I gave them like that fun little lamp and I was trying to give them a dollhouse, but that just wasn't working out for me. So yeah, fun stuff like that. And in general, I just wanted this to be like a very bright, colorful, happy space. And I also really wanted an excuse to use that divider from high school years because I think it's amazing. And I'm so bad at finding spaces to use it. So I literally just force a space to use it. And I don't care because I think it's one of the coolest items and I never see anyone talk about it. And it's so sad that it gets left on like that. And then I wanted to like further incorporate the gaming theme, so I added like a quick poster. I it was kind of an afterthought, I'll admit. But here we are in the last bedroom. So this is for I was imagining like a child, like a child aged child. I wanted to go for like green and black, but I wanted it to be like a lighter green. And also I liked the green and black on that bed. And I think that I'm trying to recall like what my thought process was. I think that specific bed was like part of what I was thinking in terms of like how I wanted to marry together the green and the black. So yeah, there's not really much to say about this room, but it's here. I personally like it. Um, I like it. It's just I don't know. I didn't want to go too hard in like concepts for it, so it's a bit more general. There's like animals, there's scouting, there's green and black. I don't know. It's for a kid. That's all I can really say. But regardless, I think it's good, and I think that like segues nicely into another thing that I have here, which is I've been in a creative funk lately, and I feel like it's okay for me to talk about that and to say, hey, uh, I've been having a little trouble creatively with building in The Sims, which is like totally fine, and I feel weird not talking about it because I feel like I've talked about The Sims with people less and less in my life, despite still trying to like keep up with like the happenings of the Sims community. And I guess part of that could be attributed to like I do get a bit exhausted by the Sims community, but at the same time, I still have like it's still a part of like not necessarily who I am, but it's like it's a very big thing that I it's a very big thing that I do. So I never want to like completely stop talking about it because I feel like that's just not the solution for me. And I also feel like this kind of creative funk has like applied to things outside of that with like my own creative work, with my writing, with my desire to make music kind of thing. But maybe part of that is just like I've had a bunch of huge changes in my life and I'm still getting used to a lot of that. So who knows? Maybe I'll feel very different about it in like a couple of weeks or even a couple of days. So we'll see. Um, but here we are in that gym that I mentioned. I like the space. I think it's, aesthetically pleasing. Um, I introduced a lot of yellow in here, but I was still trying to like keep with the blues that are present just in the house and in the walls itself. And I don't know, I just wanted it to be a nice looking place. I've never had a home gym or known someone who has like a proper gym that isn't just like a corner of their basement. So I just kind of did whatever I wanted with this. And also, I don't know, I was exhausted. This was the last room I did. I was exhausted by this point, and I just kind of wanted to go to bed essentially. I say go to bed, but it was like the middle of the day when I did this. Um, anyway, we are finally on the exterior. It's taken quite a while to get here. I do end up putting a swimming pool in here, which is not something I very often do because, fun fact, I hate swimming and I hate swimming pools. They make me nervous. Um, so that's a fun fact. That is a fun fact. By definition, it is fun because you didn't know it until now, probably. So there he is. You had fun today. Congratulations. And I also did this little dining space out in the back. I think this is like a nice little space. It has like a built-in grill and like it's covered. I put a roof piece on top of it, so it's sloped, so it looks even nicer. And like snow falls off, rain and snow fall off of it and don't fall on top of it, which is definitely like one of the weirder considerations I could have about a Sims build. Of like, is it properly like is it built to withstand the elements? But I don't know. That's where I go whenever I try and rationalize like things like roof slopes and stuff, which is I don't know. I'm weird about it. Anyway, so this is just about the last. Actually, no. There's a bit more of this video left because I did a backyard and then I do some space in the front, and I'm kind of indecisive about the whole thing. Um, I wanted there to be plenty of space to like run around and like enjoy the outdoors within the confines of that backyard because I imagine they have a dog. Um, I also like to imagine that like kids like to go outside and do things outside. So I make sure there's a lot of just empty, not empty, but like open space that can be used freely. If you download this and decide you want like a swing set or something, then you have space for that. I think you wouldn't. I think you would have space for an observatory. You would not have space for a treehouse because now the tree houses are like really big, but I also don't have growing together either. So I don't know how big they are, and I kind of don't care. Um, I never had a treehouse growing up. A couple of my friends did, but I was never super like obsessed with the idea of having a treehouse. I thought it'd be cool, but I don't think I like trees enough for that. It's not that I don't like trees. It's just you get bugs in there. I hate bugs. So like the fewer bugs, the better. That kind of thing. But one thing I do like that I don't like in real life. Actually, no. What am I saying? I don't like gardening in real life, but I do like the idea of having a nice, well kept garden. Not well. I actually didn't put any gardening stuff in this house, but a nice, well kept landscaping. That's the word I wanted. And then I also put lights outside. Um, I made sure this was a well illuminated space because the last thing you want in your Burger King burger is someone's disgusting, poorly lit outdoor space that makes you trip and fall on a rock on your way home at night. So I made sure that I had that covered, and then the bench that I tried to use in the parents' room makes its valiant return on this little back porch space. So I was thinking the two outdoor spaces. You could have one for just like casually sitting. You could have one for like dining and entertaining, that kind of thing. And then both of them have a view of the swimming pool. So let's say you wanted to let your kids swim, you could safely watch them swim and make sure they don't, drown or something. Anyway, um, I know I'm getting to the end because I'm doing terrain painting because that's the last thing I ever want to do when I build this long. But thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you enjoy the build itself too. Um, this was a lot of fun to do, even if it took a long time to do all of it, but I enjoyed it, and I hope that you all enjoy it as well. And oh, there was more of the video than I thought there was. God damn it. Um, if you want to download this, it's on my website. If you don't, that's cool. You know what to do in that case. Um, if you download, if you can edit it, you can do weird stuff in it. I don't care. Thanks again for watching. Have a nice day and goodbye.